So Darren, what happened?
I crashed my motorcycle.
Okay, so what happened? Okay, yeah. So what happened?
Oh wow.
Everything's cracked on, covered up, but that's... So I turned to the right lane and I looked over my shoulder, everything seemed good. And as I'm turning, there was a bump in the road that went all the way across. My friend hit it and his ass went off from the seat, and he went up about like an extra foot in the air from his seat. And when I hit it, my front end just started to go left, right. So my handlebars had no more control. It just started to go, and basically you have no more control after that. It's a bike that takes over.
Well, you're not going to feel much pain till another half hour.
Tu essaies de bouger toutes les parties physiques qui pourraient courir quasiment.
Ouais, l'adrénaline.
I got very lucky onto where I fell. Luckily, it was an exit right beside our house, and my momentum was going from the left lane to the right lane, and so I kept sliding towards the right, and because there was an exit lane, I slid between the first lane and the exit lane, where there's white lines on the ground and you can't go across, but it's still just flat asphalt. So luckily, because I slid there, no cars could have ran me over. And so the car behind me in the right lane, they immediately slammed on the brakes and saw what was happening. They saw within like 2-3 seconds that I was basically about to fall. So they slammed on the brakes and they pulled over. And the 18-wheeler, there was one in the left lane right behind me. So if I would have fell there, it might not have had enough time to brake and it would have just rolled me over and I would have been dead.
Of course, now we know all the injuries that you have, right? But in the moments after the crash, which ones were more apparent and which ones did you like not even know about until, you know, the doctors told you about it? Like which ones did you feel right away?
So of course, as soon as you crash, you're on adrenaline, so you tend to not feel like anything, don't feel enough pain. That's what adrenaline is, to get you through that pain so you can survive. And so when I slid, once I got back up and I ran to the side of the road, I felt good enough that I got back up and ran to the side of the road. And from there I just sat down and I was like, oof. But my first thought was, at least I'm not dead, so that's lucky. And then my friend was also on his motorcycle, he pulled over, and I heard from him that at least he's already had many crashes before. So he's like, I know you're okay, at least, like you're not dead and you seem like you're talking to me, you're responding, so at least that was okay. But your adrenaline kicks in and you don't feel the pain. So I noticed that my jeans were a bit torn up, and that I had a bit of blood coming out from my knee, and a couple other spots, but it didn't seem to hurt. It seemed just like a soccer scratch that if I would have fell, I would have gotten like the grass or something. And then once I was sitting there and other people came to call the police and talk to me and just make sure I was okay, I felt a bit of pain on my right, like on lower back on my right. And so I looked and I could see that was all just scraped off and it was like basically blood. And that was all just scraped off and a bit of asphalt in it and a bit of jacket in it. But I didn't feel the pain. I knew it burnt a bit, but I wasn't in pain. And then after that, once I was at the hospital, that's when after maybe 6 hours of just after, so I could let the adrenaline calm down a bit, I picked up something with my right hand and I felt like, ooh, picking up like this bottle of water hurts a bit. So from there on, we told the doctor and he just checked my hand, and by pressing it a couple spots, he's like, oh, you might have something broken in your wrist. So we took an x-ray and that's where I found out that I had a small bone broken in my wrist.
In those seconds where you were losing control and when you were, you know, feeling that like, you know, something was about to happen, did dying ever cross your mind? Did you ever think like, this might be my last moments?
Surprisingly, no. I just like let myself go and I was like, yep, I'm falling now. It was once it was after the crash I realized, oh shit, I could have died. But in the moment I'm not thinking like, oh, am I gonna die? I'm just like trying to save myself, I guess, trying to get myself the least hurt, but I'm not thinking death is on my mind. And I think if I was thinking about death, I think it might have been a different outcome.
Right before the big hole.
How does it? This is your first time coming back after the accident.
Yeah.
How does it feel? Like,
Surreal a bit. I mean, I could have died right there. What is it?
so you're saying you could have died right there.
I think I see part of my bike actually right there. There's some plastic just out of the road.
So there's still plastic from the bike. So you said earlier you feel like you almost died there. Like, how does that feel?
What's up, man? What?
How does that feel? Like, it's weird, right? Like,
Yeah, it's a weird feeling.
are you scared or like, I don't know, like,
I'm not scared of it. I don't want to be scared of it, but it's definitely a weird thing. Every time, for sure, I'm going to pass there, I'm going to think about it. And for sure, of course, in my family, we're going to make jokes about it every time we pass there. I think my dad already renamed it. Instead of La Sortie 112, it's like the Death Corner or something.
the death corner?
Or the Death Bump, or just like, they're going to give it a name at least, and now it's going to, yeah. It's weird.
So this question is for me personally because we ride a lot together with our bikes, with our cars. A lot of people after these accidents, they get scared and they don't want to go back on the bike or go back on the car afterwards. Are you gonna get back on the bike, Darren?
Oh, for sure, that's not an option.